so we're going to talk about isosceles and equilateral triangles. So parts of an isosceles triangle, okay? So we have the legs. So the legs are the congruent pieces, okay? So in this example here, it's AB and AC. The base is the third side. It's the side that is not congruent. So in this case, it's BC. The vertex is the angle between the two congruent sides. So understand that. I want to go back to the base real quick. The base is the side that you're not saying is part of the two congruent ones. So equilateral triangles are also isosceles triangles. So even though that third side is equal, it's just the third side besides the legs. Okay, so the vertex is the angle in between the two congruent sides. The base angles are the other two angles. So angle B and angle C are the base angles, and there's something unique about those base angles. So this is the isosceles triangle theorem, and this is what I was talking about with those base angles. If two sides of a triangle are congruent, then the angles opposite those sides are congruent. So if we know this, then we know this, okay? So if two sides of a triangle are congruent, then those opposite angles are also congruent. Converse of the isosceles triangle theorem. If two angles of a triangle are congruent, then the sides opposite those angles are congruent. So if I know the angles are congruent, I know the sides are congruent. So opposite angles that are congruent have opposite sides that are congruent. Okay? Only in the same triangle. Okay? Using the isosceles angle theorems. So here we have our first example. Okay, so we have an isosceles triangle here. We need to prove that angle Y is congruent to angle Z. So the first thing I'm going to do, statement, reason. So XY is congruent to YZ, given. Okay, and XB bisects angle YXZ. So that's also given. So all that's given. Here's my XB. I know now I need to write out what the bisection does. So I know angle YXB is congruent to angle ZXB because definition of angle bisector. Okay? So that now I know that those are congruent. Well, what's unique is I also know that XB is congruent to XB, right? And that's because they are reflexive. So now I know that that's true. So now I have side, angle, side. Well, this is good because now I have triangle YXB is congruent to triangle ZXB because of side, angle, side. Okay? Now that I know that those triangles are congruent, I can say angle Y is congruent to angle Z because of corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Okay? So I was able to use that corresponding parts to prove it. Okay, isosceles angle bisector theorem. If an isosceles line bisects the vertex of an isosceles triangle, then the line is also the perpendicular bisector. So in this example here, now I could have said, well, that's a 90 degrees. That's a right angle, so I'd have angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side on that also. Okay, so here's our example 2. So I have this item here where I have a isosceles triangle. Okay, I have an angle bisector and I have a degree here. Well, right away I know that this is 54. I know that this is 90 because it's the perpendicular bisector. So x has to equal 180 minus 90 minus 54, or 90 plus 54 equals x plus 90 plus 54 equals 180, right? So x is going to be 90 minus 54, which is 36. So x is 36 degrees. So this angle right here is 36. Well, this angle also is 36. Now, this isn't the only way you could have done it. It's very similar. I could have found this whole angle and then divided it in two also. Okay, the corollary. If triangles are equilateral, then the triangle is equiangular. So if all the sides are equal, then all the angles are equal. If the triangle is equiangular, then the triangle is equilateral. So if I know all the angles are equal, then I know all the sides are equal also. Right? So here, what are the measures of angle AC and ABC? So this is an equilateral triangle. So I know that it's x plus x plus x equals 180. 3x equals 180, right? So x, x, x. So that gives me 3x is equal to 60. So I know that this is 60 degrees here. I know this angle is 60 degrees. I know this angle is 60 degrees. Well, what's unique about this? This is also 60, 60, 60. And so A and C are 60. ABC, though, is 120. What do you get if you cross a flea with a rabbit? Bugs Bunny. What do frogs like to drink? Coca-Cola. All right, so that's talking about isosceles and equilateral triangles.